Hello, YouTube. I got to weigh in on the issue of bathrooms. North Carolina just put out a statement, or put out a law, that bans cities from allowing basically anybody to use any bathroom they want. I know the wording says use the bathroom that you feel you are. So if someone feels like they are more feminine, then they'll use the female bathroom. If they feel like they're more masculine, they can use the men's bathroom. Here's my take on it. Bathrooms and locker rooms are designed for the way urine exits the body. Alright? If you have a male biological part, then you should be using the men's bathroom. People need to get off this case of it's all about me and I feel like I want to be in the women's bathroom. Okay, what's to stop the pervert, male or female, from going into the opposite gender's bathroom, claiming today I feel like a man or I feel like a woman, and then taking their cell phone and snapping pictures of the opposite sex, of the opposite gender. That's where I have a problem. Not only that, but I have a little daughter, and I do not want her going into a bathroom that a couple teenage boys just went into, claiming they feel like a woman today. So my daughter is supposed to wait outside and basically go all over herself because boys went in there and I don't want her to go in there? Lawmakers and everyone needs to think about that. Do you want to see your 12-year-old boy go into a bathroom that you just saw a bunch of mature women go into? Because your boy says, I feel like a woman today. Okay? Or do you want your little 11-year-old girl going into the boys' bathroom or into the girls' bathroom where boys just went into? A couple teenage boys went into. That's where I have problems. Alright? Now, if places want to build bathrooms that have only one toilet in it and one person at a time, like a lot of gas stations have, one person at a time, that's fine. You go in, you lock your door, you use the restroom, come back out, no different than at home. My house, my bathroom has one toilet. You go in, you lock your door, use the restroom, wash your hands, and then you come back out. Right? I have no problem with that. It's these public restrooms and public locker rooms. Right? Do I feel comfortable letting my kid go to school and gym class is over, she's got to go back into the locker room and change back into her clothes so she can go to her next class, and they allow boys and girls in the same locker room? That is where I have problems. Okay? The community that's pushing for the allowance of cross-dressers to use the bathroom of their choice, that group is so small. Now, I believe everyone has a right. Every single person has a right. I have a right to speak my mind right now. Everyone has a right. But I think when it comes down to exposing the private regions of your body, people should feel comfortable being in a room to do it. Alright? I don't feel comfortable with my little girl going into a bathroom with his boys of any age. I don't care if the boy is wearing makeup, a dress, has his hair in pigtails, and looks like a girl. If he's got male parts, he needs to go in the men's room to use it, or the men's locker room to get dressed. Because I do not want my daughter feeling violated because standing next to her is somebody that is dressed like a girl but is standing up urinating, or walking around after taking a shower with male parts dangling, and my daughter having to ask me, why was there a boy in my locker room? Okay? There are too many people that will take advantage of those laws. I guarantee that part. And the majority are going to be teenagers. Because cognitively, that's a big word, their brain is not fully developed enough to understand the consequences of their actions. They're not. That's why we have laws that minors get treated differently than adults in the court of law. Teenagers' hormones are raging all over the place. Male and female hormones. For boys and girls, teenage years are a time when the hormones are raging all over the place and your body's not developed enough yet to be able to control them. Control urges, control things like that. So you may have girls picking on the boys. That you know, because they'll walk into the boys' locker room and want to mess with a boy. Or peek at the boys. Boys will go peek at the girls. So this bathroom bit, I think is really ridiculous because everyone's thinking about, well, me. If I feel like a woman and I dress like a woman and I want to be a woman because I feel like I'm a woman, first of all, no guy with boy parts, nobody with boy parts totally feels like what a girl does. Just as no female with girl parts will ever understand what it feels like to be a boy. It's just impossible. Your chromosomes, your DNA, your sexual organs, you've never dealt with the opposite. If you're an XY, you've never dealt with XX problems. If you're an XX, you've never dealt with XY problems. Even if you get surgery so that your parts look like the other parts, your hormones, your DNA is still wired differently. Your brain is wired differently. I firmly believe it. I firmly believe that there is a difference between men and women's brains being wired. Alright? Women think about different things than men do. Alright? I don't care how much you say, well, this man, he's all into dresses, he's all into operas and flowers and gardening and traditional female things. I'm not stereotyping, but what I'm saying is traditionally female things that females like. You know, the tearjerker movies is typically female. Your action movies are typically male. I know there's all kinds of crossovers. Every once in a while, I like a good tearjerking drama. I'm not afraid I'm not afraid to admit that. But I prefer adventure, sci-fi type movies, okay? I'm not into cars. A lot of guys are, and there are a few. There are women that are too. I'm not here to promote gender stereotyping, but biologically, your body was created a certain way, and your DNA developed you in a certain way. If for whatever reason you feel like the opposite gender, that's up to you. If a guy wants to wear dresses, that's fine. If a girl wants to, to dress in blue jeans and t-shirts and have short hair, that's fine. Go for it. If you feel comfortable wearing and looking like that, then go for it. I mean, me, on my weekends, I prefer blue jeans and t-shirts. I don't like to wear suits and ties all week long, in my off hours. No, that's not me. I'm not a grease monkey. I don't like getting under the hood of my car. Do I know how to change a tire? Yeah. Do I know how to change my oil? Yeah. Do I know how to adjust the timing of my engine? No. I'll find somebody that does like that type of stuff. But my point being, getting back to these bathrooms, is your body's designed one way. That's what these bathrooms are for. Like I said, it's not about you. Put yourself in the shoes of a parent with a teen or a preteen child. Do you want them going into a bathroom or locker room that you just saw the opposite gender, opposite sex? There's a difference between gender and sex. Gender is how you feel. If you feel feminine and you want to look feminine, then that's your gender. But your sex is what your body is designed for. Are you XY or XX? Alright? So, do you feel comfortable allowing your son or daughter to go into a locker room you just saw the opposite sex teenagers go into? Do you feel comfortable sending your daughter, because she says she feels like a boy, going into the boys' locker room? Do you feel comfortable enough to know that the boys in that locker room are going to be mature enough not to pick on her, not to abuse her? Or your daughter being mature enough not to do something against those boys? Do you feel comfortable allowing your boy to go into the girls' locker room and not get sued from the other girl's parents because he came out of the shower before he can get his dress back on? He's walking around looking like a guy. Some of the daughters are going to freak out. They're going to tell their parents. Their parents are going to put lawsuits in there. And right now the laws are still siding. The scales are still a little tipped towards females who press charges against men. If a female goes into a men's locker room and men try to press charges, I got a feeling, I feel in my heart, that the courts are going to side with the female, saying, well, she feels like a boy. Opposite role, guy walks into the female locker room, gets undressed, takes his shower, walks out, females see him, females bring a lawsuit against him. I got a feeling in my heart that the court is going to side with the females, and that male, the one that has the male parts, regardless of how he feels and how he wants to think, wants to be, is going to get sued. So the laws are trying to fix something that, first of all, I don't think is broken. If you want to really feel and look like the opposite sexual person, if you're an XX and you want to actually be more like an XY, or you're an XY and you actually want to be an XX, then go get the surgery. Go get surgery to make you completely that sex. Because otherwise, lawsuits are going to ensue when you walk out of that shower, head towards your locker, and the opposite sexual organs are walking around. People are walking around with the opposite sexual organs. They're going to say something. They're going to feel self-conscious, self-aware of everything. And there's going to be lawsuits. I guarantee there's going to be lawsuits. The courts are going to be so jammed with these kind of lawsuits. And some of them are legit. Legitimate lawsuits because the person that went in there is doing it because they want to see the opposite sex. Alright? I know a lot of when I was a teenager, I know a lot of teenage boys. And I'll come clean, even me. Not snuck into girls' locker rooms, but we snuck into adult rooms and found the naked magazines. I remember my friend, the first time he showed me one of his big brother's magazines. And we looked at that and we were like, oh my gosh, wow. Okay, do you really feel comfortable allowing boys at that age to be going into the girls' locker room claiming they feel like a girl today when all they really want to do is look at girls today? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to look out for other people. Alright? What's to stop the homosexual from looking at the body parts that they like to look at? Nothing. But I feel more comfortable like that than I do the other way. I don't feel comfortable having a bunch of cross-dressing men go into the locker room that my daughter's about to go into at the public swimming pool. I have a problem with that. I do. I have a problem with that. I'm not homophobe. I'm not a homophobe at all. I just think that it opens the doors for unwanted behavior, adolescent behavior, perverted behavior. How do you stop that? How do we get to a point where the person who generally feels like they're in the wrong body but doesn't have the money to get the full transformation, how do we cater to that person and stop the perversions, stop the people that want to take advantage of the other gender, not the gender, the other sex? Right? I see in the news a lot. Teachers, both men and women, getting in trouble for doing something with a student of the opposite sex. Do you think that stuff like, and how much stuff is not reported in daily news when it's kid versus kid on kid stuff? When a boy gets caught peeking into the girl's bathroom, or the girl gets caught peeking into the boy's locker room. Okay? How much of that doesn't get reported on daily news? The teachers get reported on daily news because that's a big shock. That's a shocker. And news organizations are in for the shock and all. It sells. It sells. It makes you click. It makes you want to see it. If they put up a thing where it says, 12-year-old boy was caught looking into the 12-year-old girl's locker room, people that, well, it's kids. Hormones, whatever. They brush it off. They're not going to click on the link. But when you see teacher, which is a position of authority in adult authority, with student, people click on it. Sells news. So how many reported is not being reported? How many is not being shown on daily news? Kids going into other kids' locker rooms. Okay? Trying to peek at the other gender. Excuse me, the other sex. I know we've said gender and sex for too long, and all throughout history, male gender was the same as male sex. I understand that it's different. It was different back then. They just didn't call it that. So, I'm trying to use the terms correctly. I feel if it's going to be a mass group of people using the bathroom or locker room, like a lot of places have now, multiple toilets, multiple shower heads, multiple lockers, then those need to be classified by your sexual organs, by your, I'm not going to say chromosomes. Well, I still can, because you were born in XY or you're born in XX. Until you get the physical transformation, you'll never be able to get your chromosomes to go from XX to XY or XY to XX. But you can get your body parts to change. You can get sexual reorientation surgeries to where your body parts become the opposite sex. Once you get that, then I think before that you need to go into the bathroom or locker room that your body is shaped as. Not what your head feels, but what your body is shaped as, for the sake of other people in that locker room. Alright? The other alternative is places start having single bathrooms, single locker rooms, single shower rooms, to where you don't see anybody else. You go in there, you lock your door, you do your business, whether that's a shower and changing, or you're doing the bathroom, and then you come out. Okay? I tend to think of other people first. Alright? I do that with my family. I make sure that my kids have enough to eat. That's why I don't eat a lot at dinner time until everybody else is eaten. Then I will go back for seconds and fill myself up. I will have my first helping will be just enough to sustain me. Get a little bit of food in my stomach, and then I make sure that everybody else has enough to eat. If my son says, I'm still hungry, I'll be like, go for it. If I get hungry, I'll make myself a piece of toast. Go ahead, have more dinner. But that's the way I am. That's the way I think that's the way I'm designed. I guess that's the way God put me. But that's my take on the whole gender bathroom locker room issue. I feel the state of North Carolina has it correct. The cities that were trying to implement that freedom of use whichever restroom you want, I think have it wrong, because, like I said, I have a little daughter. I don't want her going into a bathroom that a bunch of men just walk into. A bunch of grown men. I don't feel comfortable. Not when I hear it. I get emails all the time about these people that prey on young kids, sexually prey on them. Moving into my neighborhood, or moving close to my neighborhood, or moving in my state. Alright, we have a big problem in this country with pedophiles. And then you turn around and make laws that allow pedophiles to go into locker rooms and bathrooms of the opposite gender. I know there's pedophiles out there that prey on the same sex, the same sexual organs that they got. But there's also a lot out there that prey on the opposite sex. Okay? I teach my boys that if the man starts looking at you, starts wanting to touch you, let me know. I tell my daughter, if you're in the bathroom and a female is staring at you or trying to touch you, let me know. But I don't want because the chances of those types are less, statistically, than the ones that prey on opposite genders, the opposite sex. Opposite sex predators are more common. The 13-year-old boy, the 14-year-old boy, the 16-year-old boy, the 18-year-old boy, the 19-year-old boy is more likely to want to see, touch, and feel the opposite sexual organs. Statistically, it's that way. Okay? Statistically. And that's what the laws need to do. They need to statistically cover people. You're never going to be able to make a law that everyone agrees to. The speed limit law. Drive 55. How many people do you know go over speed limits? And that law was supposed to meant to cater to everybody. But there's always that one person that will race up behind you, zip around you real quick, and shoot off to the horizon. And you look at your speedometer and you see that you're going the speed limit. You're going the number that's on those signs. Laws are meant to protect people. I understand that we try to cater to every single person in this country. But by catering to every single person in this country, you're going to alienate somebody else. It's just that way. Right? So, I'm going to boycott those cities that allow opposite sexual organs to go into any bathroom, any bathroom they want. I'm going to boycott those cities. I'm going to boycott those restaurants that allow that. I'm going to boycott those places that allow that. Because I have a daughter that I do not want a 14-year-old, 15, 16-year-old boy or man trying to peek at. That's my daughter. Right? And I don't want my boy to feel uncomfortable because he feels like a man having a bunch of women walking around him after he takes a shower in the public, at the school, at the pool, at the public pool, or at the public gym. I don't want him to feel uncomfortable, and I don't want lawsuits. Okay? Because what happens when one of these, okay, perfect example, my son. Okay, my son's, he goes to the gym, comes out of the showers, goes towards his locker, and there's a female body standing there. Okay? That female may feel like a man, may act like a man, may sound like a man, may look like, may in clothes look like a man. But right now, because that person just got out of the shower, looks like a female. And my son gets aroused by it, by the look of it. And then all of a sudden this person's going to sue my son because he got aroused. It made her, who feels like a him, uncomfortable. I'm just trying to look out for the court system, for the legal system, for people's feeling of safety. I've known so many females that when they feel uncomfortable, they will grab their friend and they will go to the female restroom to get away from the men that are bothering them. I hung out with a bunch of women at clubs sometimes. Not lately, not since I've been married, but this was when I was in England. Right? Some of my good friends were females. And I'd go clubbing with them. Okay? Because it was people I knew that I'd like to hang out with. Right? And sometimes there would be guys that would come up to them, make them feel uncomfortable, and they would go into the bathroom together to get away from this guy. Well, these laws pass. There's no safe place for these girls to go. If they feel like a creep is bothering them. They feel like a drunk guy is trying to hit on them. There's no safe place for these females to go now if you open up that law. There's no safe place for these females to go when they feel uncomfortable because a drunk guy is trying to get all over them. How many instances are there like that? And I'm way over my time. I'm 30 minutes. But that's my take. Sorry that this took so long, but it's a topic that I really, 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 really am concerned about. We can agree to disagree. YouTube, stay safe. Post comments. Share. Like. And if you disagree or agree, that's up to you. That's what's good about America. We can agree to disagree. Take care.